Welcome to aminacademy.com. Let us do live stories of scientists. In that, we'll discuss about Alan M. Turing. A British mathematician and logician, Alan Matheson Turing made major contribution to mathematics, cryptanalysis, logic, philosophy, and biology, and to the new areas later named computer science, cognitive science, artificial intelligence, and artificial life. The son of the British member of the Indian Civil Service, Turing entered King's College, University of Cambridge to study mathematics in 1931. After graduating in 1934, Turing was elected to a fellowship at King's College in recognition of his research in probability theory. In 1936, Turing's seminal paper on computable numbers with an applications to the problems was recommended for publication by the American mathematician logician Alonzo Church, who had himself just published a paper that reached the same conclusion as Turing's. Codebreaker. In the summer 1930, Turing returned from the United States to his fellowship at King's College at the outbreak of hostilities with Germany in September 1939. He joined the wartime headquarters of the Government Code and Cipher School at Bletchley Park, Buckinghamshire. The British government had just been given the details of the efforts by the Poles, assisted by the French, to break the Enigma code. Computer designer. In 1945, the war being over, Turing was recruited to the National Physical Laboratory, that is NPL, in London to design and develop an electronic computer. His design for the Automatic Computing Engine ACE was the first relatively completely specification of an electronic stored program general purpose digital computer. Artificial intelligence pioneer. Turing was a founding father of modern cognitive sciences and learning, leading early exponents of the hypothesis that the human brain is in large part of a digital computing machine. He theorized that the cortex at birth is an unorganized machine that through training becomes organized into a universal machine or something like it. A pioneer of the artificial intelligence, Turing proposed what subsequently became known as the Turing test as a criterion for whether a machine thinks. Now we'll discuss further about Alan M. Turing. Alan Turing was a British mathematician and codebreaker who cracked the Enigma code during World War II. His work helped the Allies defeat the Axis power. What did Turing do? Invented the Bombi machine to crack the Enigma code. Developed the technique called Ben Brismus to read naval Enigma messages. Led the Hut 8 team, which crypto-analyzed all German naval signals. What was the impact of his work? Turing's work helped the Allies defeat the Axis powers in many engagements, including the Battle of the Atlantic. Some historians estimate that breaking U-boat Enigma shortened the war in Europe by 2 to 4 years. Other contribution. Turing's work laid the foundation for modern computer science and artificial intelligence. He designed the automatic computing engine, one of the first designs of a stored program computer. He invented the universal Turing machine. Turing's persecution. Turing was convicted of homosexuality and was chemically castrated. He died by suicide in 1952. The British government apologized for its treatment of Turing and officially pardoned him in 2013. Was Alan Turing, best known for creating machines that helped crack the Enigma code and laying the foundation for modern computers and artificial intelligence. Alan was born in London, England in 1912. He was a super smart kid. In fact, his teachers thought he was a genius. The trouble was that his boarding school in Dorset mostly taught classics, ancient languages and literature, and Alan found these really dull. Instead, Alan loved maths. He spent most of his time at school solving complex chess problems and learning advanced science all on his own. When he was 16, Alan formed a very close friendship with a fellow pupil called Christopher. He inspired Alan to come out of his shell and work harder at school. When Christopher tragically died a couple of years later, Alan was determined to honor his memory by devoting himself to study. So in 1931, he headed to King's College, University of Cambridge, to study maths. Shortly after, in 1936, he moved to Princeton University in the USA to complete a PhD. Allen took up long distance running while he was at university, a hobby that almost led to him competing for Britain in the 1948 Olympics. Wow. The Turing machine. At Princeton, Allen developed one of his most famous ideas, universal computing machines, later called Turing machine, that would be able to decode and perform any set of instructions. During Allen's lifetime, the machine remained just a theory and was never actually built. But his ideas led the groundbreak for modern computing, which has transformed the worlds we live in with computers. Code breaking brilliance. In 1939, World War II began and Allen joined the British government top secret code breaking department at Bletchley Park, Milton Keynes. The Nazis had been using a system of scrambled message called the Enigma code to communicate military information. Decoding these messages could give the British huge boost in the war effort as they had get to find out what their enemies were planning. So Allen and fellow mathematician Gordon Welchman invented an incredible new machine called the Bombi. In total, 211 of these machines were made, and they were vital in helping code breakers crack the Enigma code. This gave Britain and its allies a huge advantage. By 1945, they had won the war. It's estimated that the codebreakers' efforts saved many thousands of lives. Later life. Allen was awarded an OBE by King George VI for his services to the country in World War II. From then on, he became very busy. In 1946, he produced a design for the first electronic computer, the Automatic Computing Engine (ACE). Later in 1950, he also published a scientific paper called Computing Machinery and Intelligence. In this paper, Allen asked the questions of whether computers would one day be able to think, and he designed a method for judging artificial intelligence. Allen referred to this method as a imitation game. It was later named the Turing test and became hugely important to computer science. Tragic times. During Alan's lifetime, it was illegal to be gay in the UK, and in 1952, he was convicted for having a relationship with a man. Rather than go to prison for his crimes, Alan agreed to have medical treatment designed to take away his romantic desires. Sadly, his criminal record also meant that Alan lost his job. So far, we discussed about a computer scientist, Alan M. Turing. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.